like more into streaming, like what kind of content we do and like what kind of ideas we have, what kind of like I think the first question would be like what's our expectation from our streams, right? And a few of us got into that, but I don't think everyone got into that, right? So like we got into how we started streaming and so, but we didn't get to okay what's the purpose. And I think Barry kind of mentioned that it was mostly for him to learn, right? Do you have any other or is that all you were hoping for? Or also there's also some other like reasons behind your stream?
I would say that that's probably 90% of it is like just like I want like I don't feel comfortable designing software. Like I want to feel like a software engineer. And because I come from like an academic non-software background, I never feel confident in my ability to do anything. So it's just kind of like I don't see myself ever stopping streaming. Like I feel like I'm gonna have to constantly practice, and I'll never actually feel good at it. So yeah, but that like the other 10% is just doing something fun. So I think that solving problems, even basic puzzles, are fun. So Haskell is like a perfect language for that, because you basically doing hole driven development, for example, is kind of just like a puzzle game. You know, it's really fun sometimes.
Okay, I mean, it feels to me like there's also has to be some aspect of like trying to grow the community or to make Haskell more popular or something like that, right? Because otherwise we wouldn't really be streaming, right? Or at least like we wouldn't care. We don't be reading chat. We don't care about like answering chat questions or being like we would just be like, okay, I'll just do my thing and not even watch chat and not care about it, right? So there has to be at least a little bit of you which thinks that it's a good idea to do that. Or am I wrong?
I mean, I think that you're right. Like, but I think my community is a little different, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So like, if ideally, I would love to be able to pitch Haskell to scientists and say, "Hey, scientists, this language will make you do better science and also do more reproducible science, or allow you to, prove that what you're doing is correct. That you don't need to worry about." Your code crashing in 6 months or something. But I don't know if I'll ever be able to break into saying, "Hey, scientists, stop using Python and MATLAB." Like I just don't see how that's going to happen, unless I write something wild that just breaks people's brains about how you write software, and I just don't see myself doing that.
Okay. Okay, that's interesting. So you're, okay, I need to think about that for a second.
Yeah.
Let's somebody else take over. So like the like what are your like the reasons you're streaming and maybe like what do you hope to accomplish, right? I guess would be the better way to phrase the question. Who wants to go next? Again, pointing to the corner, but I assume that means to James.
Yeah. So I guess when I got started, I wanted to just have more streamers out there. I guess I probably felt like I'd hit the end of YouTube and watched all the Haskell videos there are to watch, and there weren't more coming out very quickly anyway. I mean, I'd catch the odd coding video that would come out every now and again, but not a whole lot. And, now that I started doing it, you kind of just have it's a very kind of raw experience, I guess. Like I started out with like kind of a small project, and I just wanted to write small projects with people, things I don't normally get to do at work. Like I'm lucky that I get to write a little bit of Haskell at work, but a lot of it I would characterize as just schlepping enterprise JSON around, which is pretty easy in most languages. Haskell has some features that I take advantage of that make it a little bit better, but I don't get to write databases for a living, for example. So I thought I'd just kick the tires and do something hard and just learn. Can we do high performance Haskell? Can we do one of the things we're going to be struggling with eventually is like how do we manage large amounts of memory in Haskell without having the garbage collector visit all of our objects? Can we do it off heap somehow? And parallelizing these data structures as well for concurrent access and all this stuff. It's kind of growing and growing and growing, and it's turning more, I think, into kind of, I guess, the more pragmatic side, less theory, but more just like building stuff together, kind of thing, and learning together. A friend of mine was asking me, like, what do you hope to get out of it? And it's like, I don't know. Maybe it's a little presumptuous to say, but I would like to be like the Bob Ross of Haskell programming. That's a thing if there's space for that.
Cool. That's awesome. Cool. Yeah, that's awesome. But I think also, like, we were supposed, like, Dario wanted to join but didn't, and I think he does painting on stream. So I think that the Bob Ross of FP might be a title that will have to fight with Dario at least.
Yeah, that's more to him than to me.
I'm kidding, of course. Cool.
I don't have a very big audience right now, and I don't have good overlays or anything like that. But we just try and hack it together and make it work, and it's fun. Like, I like the regularity of it too, that Barry was saying as well.
Mm-hmm.
I have a dedicated slot of time to do some Haskell hacking, so it's pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's definitely like the minimal prerequisite to have a successful stream is to have a schedule and keep it, right? Even if it's one day a week, that's totally fine. But like, your audience needs to know when they can find you, right? And it has to be somewhat regular. Yeah.
Yeah. I just want to reiterate that, like, for anyone who starts streaming, doing functional programming, please listen to what Vlad just said. Like, all you need to do is have a consistent schedule, and people will show up.
Yep.
Yeah.
You don't need the like. I'm lucky that my brothers, like, I have my brother and a few of his friends who are like and my friends also who are very good at design, and they help me with like the backgrounds you're seeing on my stream, and I think they'll continue doing that, and the emotes and so on, right? But you don't need that. Like, I'm just happy and I'm lucky that I have that, and well, they're happy to help, but you don't need that to have a successful stream. You just need a schedule, and it needs to be posted somewhere so people know it, and then that's like. And I think we can continue going into that because I've and talking about that. But I think let's hear from Reed first with what did he? And I think you kind of got into it a bit. You wanted to spread the love of and the good word of category theory, right? So is that your main goal? Are there other sub goals or other things that you care about a lot, or is that like, okay, I only care about this and the rest is just me having fun?
I mean, yeah, obviously I want to sort of spread the good word about categories like that. But I don't know, I kind of want to remind people that sort of doing math can actually be fun. It's not something that's sort of intimidating or scary. It's something that anyone can do. You don't need special training. You just need to be able to sort of sit there and think really hard about things and sort of try and tease out structures. And sort of, so that's one of the streams. I do run Galaxy Brain streams once a week, which they're meant sort of just to be like, I'm interested in the topic, and let's just kind of do a deep dive and sort of mess around and explore and see what other people have thought of, see if we can prove something interesting, or maybe just get totally off into the weeds and some wacky stuff. So that one is mainly just if you have a bit more of a background, or you just want to totally think about some very bizarre things and have someone hopefully provide some intuition behind some of the darker corners of NLab.
Yep. Cool. Okay, that's interesting.
Can I just say that I really, really enjoy the term galaxy brain? Just something about that term makes me really happy. I don't yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I also like that. I even used to have the Galaxy Brain Saturday streams, right? I still do that, but it's not. I don't always. It's not a regular stream because I sometimes miss it. Sometimes it starts later. So, okay, cool. So I mean, let's get into because I wanted to also get Reed's answer to the same question, but I guess we can get into streaming, right? More in depth into streaming, actually. So we're saying, okay, so what's important when we're streaming, right? Because maybe there's a few people who are also interested in starting streaming in the audience. Were you going to say something, James? Sorry.
Oh, when you're done, yeah.
Okay. Right. So what are the what do you guys think are the important things to know when you're starting to stream? So you already mentioned, okay, the schedule, right?
I'd say number one, just do it. You don't need a whole lot of equipment to get started. Just start.
Yeah, you don't need this
webcam.
microphone. You don't need the green screen. You don't need anything, right? I already had this actually, the microphone from before, like from a long time ago. So yeah, you don't need anything fancy. You just start it. Listen to your own stuff. See, like, listen if it's if it doesn't sound well, then like maybe adjust some settings. Play with it. Yeah. So what else?
Check your upload speed. Like you do need a bit of upload speed to run this. Like when I first moved into this apartment, I only had 1 gig upload and I couldn't stream. Like it's just not good enough. So that's one thing is you do need the upload speed to support it from your internet provider. Although it's really uncommon to have less than 1 gig. Just my internet provider sucks.
Yeah, and I think you can just try it, right? You just do your first stream. Don't announce it. Just do it. And this goes into another thing that I was going to say. So one thing that's important to know is Twitch is not going to help you get viewers, ever. Twitch is like if you put yourself in Twitch shoes for a second, which is maybe not the easiest thing to do, but if we try to do that, Twitch is a huge platform which is interested in having people stay there as long as possible to get like as many ads as possible, right? And like imagine a new viewer comes to Twitch and asks Twitch which streamer should I watch? Should I watch the 3 viewer FPR or should I watch the like 50,000 viewer guy who's playing the like current interesting game to watch, right? And of course, Twitch is going to recommend the big streamers, right? And in all the pages on Twitch, they're always going to be sorted by viewers. Like very, very rarely you're going to find a page that's not sorted by viewers. It's very hard to find those. And that, on top of that, it's very hard to find the programming or the science and technology pages, right? So it's very, very it's hard to find, right, these streams. So Twitch is very good because it has good technology. It has like a cool chat and all of that. But you know, if you want to have people know about your stream, you need to like announce it on Twitter. You need to like tell people about it, right? Basically, YouTube is a great platform for getting your name out there because YouTube will recommend videos that match, right? So if somebody's interested in Haskell, they will likely find Haskell related stuff because there's, as James said, there's not that many out there, right? So it's easy to find videos in the Haskell world, right? People might find you, right? So if you just do something that's cool and interesting, that it's quite likely that people will find. And the way I do it is I just upload my like the content which I think is best. I just clip it on highlight it on Twitch and I just upload it to YouTube, right? And I get a fair amount of people coming from YouTube nowadays, so.
Yeah. So we're also in like a small community, and hopping into that FP Slack, there's like the watch just watch me code channel on the FP Slack. Like if you're interested in starting streaming, you just put your name in there. We'll watch you. Like the people all of us will probably watch you at some point. Like it's very interesting.
Yeah, for sure.
The more of us there are, the better. That's the way I see it.
Yeah, definitely not a competition. I never saw, right? Even among people who game or whatever in a certain category, there's never a competition. It's always it's always better to form bigger communities with within we're doing FP and we are within a community already, and we can also have the streamer part of a sub community of FP, and we already stream at so widely different hours, and our content is already, even if we're all doing FP, the content we do it's quite different, right? Even amongst the 4 of us and also the other streamers who were not able to join today, right? So it's not a matter of competition at all. It's just a matter of having a common community, I think.
Just another point that I'm thinking about is interact with your chat. Because I've experienced a few folks who you'll go into their channel and they'll just be working away, and like that's fine if your head is in the game, like stay in the game, but you have to interact with your chat if you want them to stay. If you don't have conversations with them, they'll just leave. because it's not interesting.
Yeah,
So,
I mean,
like,
that's the main reason why you. Sorry to cut you for a second there, but that's the
That's
main
fine.
reason why you do Twitch, right? Otherwise, just upload a YouTube video if that's your thing, and that's totally fine, right? If you're better, just like going through some cool idea and then making a script and then going and presenting it as a video, then just do that and upload it to YouTube and don't do Twitch, because that's also a very reasonable thing to do and very useful for the FP community. Like, have high quality videos, because I'm not fooling anybody. My Twitch videos are not ideal for YouTube, right? I don't edit them. I don't cut off boring pieces, or like when somebody has something in chat and that's maybe has no relationship to anything I'm doing in like in the video, I won't cut that, right? I don't have the time to do that, right? So they're not ideal YouTube videos. They're just, hey, this is my content. If you like it, come see Twitch or watch more YouTube videos. But I don't have more time to put into that, right? So there's definitely space for like primarily YouTube folks who do FP. But yeah, if you do Twitch, definitely chat. Like, you use your chat and talk to people, ask them questions, answer their questions, keep them involved, because that's definitely very, very important.
I also find I export all my videos to YouTube as well. I don't edit them at all. I just throw them up there, and they get some views. But I think mostly because of time zone differences. Not everyone can. There's a lot of European time zone people in the Haskell community, and they can't always turn it in at the ungodly hours that I stream at, which are pretty reasonable hours here. So it's another way for you to keep people in the loop with what you're doing if they're interested.
Yeah, for sure. And also, like, I think also don't disregard the Twitch VODs, because I was super, super surprised to see how many people watch my Twitch VODs. I had no idea, because initially I thought that the views on those are just accumulated live plus offline views, but they're not. They're just offline, which blew my mind that there's like, I know, like the episode with like Sandy got like 160 views offline, which is insane to me, because Twitch doesn't put them forward. They're not easily, like, it's not easy to find them. You have to do like 5 clicks on Twitch to find that video, right? So it's amazing to me that people do that.
Yeah, I remember actually one time that one of like a viewer that watched my VOD every single time, they ended up catching my stream randomly on a Saturday, and they were just like, they were just so happy that they finally were able to see the thing, because they always were watching me not live. So like there are definitely people on Twitch who can't watch you live, and that's okay. Just try and make that stuff available.
Yep, exactly. VOD views are only offline. I'm pretty sure of that, because I've tried, like, I've looked at a VOD immediately after I ended the stream, and it has 0 views, right? And then next day it had 20 views, and then next day it had 40 or whatever, right? Which is also weird, because I would expect most of the views to happen just within 24 hours, right? But that's not always the case. You sometimes get like older, like people just maybe stumbling in from a different day, and they're just looking what other things are here and so on. Again, I don't think how the views are counted, because I don't think that means that 160 people watched the whole broadcast, right? They probably watched a few seconds or something at the very least, and then some people watched more, others watched less, right? But I think it should be at least a few seconds, right? They at least loaded that page and played it, I think. So, yeah. Okay, so other things are important, you would just say.
Yeah, sort of second the point of just doing it. Yeah, don't worry about like quality or anything your first time around. Just you'll learn a lot more doing it than you will sort of agonizing and stressing and trying to plan.
Oh yeah.
Just log on, hit the button, and just see what happens, basically.
It's so easy to do that, right? Just download OBS and hit go live. It's literally just that.
To the
increase your font
to the
size maybe
agonizing,
2 ticks.
Yeah, I mean,
to the agonizing thing. My first stream, I was really agonizing about the content of it. What am I going to do, and how am I going to present this? And I would go through what I was going to say in the days leading up to the first stream, and repeat over my head and practice it in front of the mirror. I watched the first couple of episodes obsessively to watch my speech and what I was saying, what I was working on. And then by the 3rd or 4th stream, I was like, this is not sustainable. And now I just I do research a little bit before I go on stream, but not as much. And I kind of just do what I feel like doing and don't worry about it so much. And that's gone a lot better. So If you're going to do streamings, don't try and think what do people want to see and stuff. Sometimes just doing what you love, it's your free time, enjoy it, and the passion will just kind of come through, and you'll get more people interested that way as well.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. That's a good take. Yeah, I think like do the things you want to do, and then yeah, that will definitely work. What else is there? Yeah, I mean, there's a lot, like Barry said, increase the font size, maybe like at the very least, like when you're streaming, like especially if it's the first time you're doing that, like just hop on your own stream and maximize it and see if it looks okay, right? If you can read the text, if it's not blurry, if it's not too small, and like, of course, watch chat, right? Because people will tell you, hey, I can't read. Can you increase the font? Can you make it, can you change? And again, like some people seem to be having a hard time reading some themes. So make sure that the theme is relatively high contrast, because otherwise it's hard to see on some screens. Yeah.
Resolution sometimes also, if you're streaming in 4K, people in Australia can't really follow your stream that well.
Oh yeah,
don't.
Yeah.
So pick something reasonable.
It's like a common thing. Like when Twitch is really, really busy, they don't allow you to downsample your streams. So yeah, you might get stuck in 4K, and then like you're saying, people in Australia can't watch you in 720.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a fair thing to say. Okay, so what else do we? Yeah, and I think that that's true even if you're affiliate, right? Only if you're a partner do you get guaranteed quote unquote different bit rates for your stream, right?
Yeah, it's like it depends on load. So if they're heavily loaded, then they won't allow you to downsample.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Is that the right term? I don't even know.
Yeah, it sounds right to me. So.
Whatever it is.
Okay. So what other things do we have? So what about like the sort of content? Because like James is saying, okay, don't worry, do whatever you like doing. I think you're also saying, Barry, that you mostly do the things that you're interested in, like just like I want to do this. I don't care if there's like if it's complicated, too complicated or too easy or whatever for my audience. I'm just gonna do that because that's what I'm interested in.
Yeah, I mean, I found myself like if I start doing something too easy, I get bored. Like what I deem to be too easy, I suppose, because too easy is very relative, obviously. Sure. Like I wanted to do more beginner Haskell content, but I found myself like not having fun doing it, and so the content was bad. Like I felt like it was bad, and nobody would want to watch it. So I think earlier we were stating like if you want to upload YouTube videos, like that's a great place to upload just like beginner Haskell content. But yeah, I mean, I want to dive into the depths of the extensions and like what are the wildest type stuff that we can do in Haskell. So but again, fun.
I think that also like it's important to note how many hours can you do streaming, right? Because if you can only do a couple, especially like I think Reed doesn't do a lot of streams, and also James doesn't do a lot of stream. I think you and I do a bit more than them, right, Barry?
I don't even do that much. I mean, like my schedule is only 6 hours a week. Is that a lot? Like I'm not even sure now.
I don't know. I thought you do a lot more than that. Okay, so maybe I'm just. Or maybe you did a few more in some weeks, but not always or something.
Technically, I only say I'm going to do 6 hours a week, but I often find myself streaming on the weekends, like working on Sandy's book or just doing some, well, now I'm doing another book. So it's just like, I keep myself busy for sure.
Yeah, I think like for me, since I stream, how many hours do I stream? So it's like 6 times, like at least 12 hours a week, I think. Around that 10-12 hours a week at the very least. I think that gives me more time, and I don't feel like, okay, if I don't do the Galaxy Brain stuff now, then I don't get to it, right? Because I always have like another 2-3 hours in a different stream to do that, right? So and also but I think I agree with you, right? Because I didn't even think about this, but I think subconsciously I that's why I started the teaching Thursdays where I have somebody I'm teaching, because that's a lot more fun, right, than just talking out in the void and like explaining basic Haskell or pure script concepts to the void, basically, right? Having somebody I can teach is a lot more fun for me. So yeah.
Yeah, and those streams are really like interesting to watch because I enjoy watching people learn, just generally speaking. So like if I can watch somebody else like trying to absorb PureScript or Haskell, like I find that content really really fun. So there's definitely a few other people on Twitch trying to learn Haskell, but they're not in the FP chat as far as I'm aware. So like even if you're just interested in learning, I don't know how you're going to get this video if you're in that like category, but I would love to watch more people like just learning basic Haskell even.
Yeah, I agree. So okay, so what about the like small things with streaming, right? For example, all the big streamers have this like, or at least a large portion of the big streamers have this like, they have this cool welcome to the, and then the name of their like group, right? They create a community and they say, okay, welcome to like, I know how familiar you guys are with like big streamers, like there's Forsten Boys and Ape Gang and like all of the big streamers have this, or a lot of them, right? I don't want to say all, but a lot of them has this sense of like, we have this gang group that has a name and we welcome people to whenever they join or whatever, and then like there's the emotes and the like icons that you get when you sub and all of that things. How important do you think those are?
Personally, not important at all. Like I've not been able to come up with a good name for the group of people that watch my stream. Like I've always like, I was thinking, okay, well, we're all students, right? So let's be the students. And I was like, oh, that doesn't sound quite right. And then, okay, well, you guys are teachers because you're teaching me. And I was like, I don't really like that either. And now I sort of just like, whatever, we're the snail club. I don't care. So I don't think it matters that much personally.
Okay.
Yeah, it seems a little bit silly. Maybe if you're trying to be, the very best that there ever was, it's important, but I don't know. It's a bit silly.
Yeah, I agree. And like, if you want to get, like, if you're interested in growing your stream, I think you have to get a bit silly. Because like Soding also says this a lot, right? And he's Russian, so he's a lot more direct and a lot like he has an interesting way with words. But I think he calls it like he's a clown, and he does even the honk honk kind of thing, and like you have to be a clown to be entertaining on Twitch or something like that. Yeah. Which I like. There's some truth to that for sure. Like I don't 100% agree with it, but there is some truth to that for sure. Especially with like having a larger audience, like he has like 150, almost 200 viewers at times. Yeah,
you need a larger audience before you can start even talking about having a group and giving it a name, right? Like I think I only average 4 or 5 viewers usually at a time right now, and I've only been doing it for a few months, so yeah, I'm like, I don't know if a name would be really appropriate at this point. But I do think it is kind of important, from what I understand from Twitch in general, like getting your audience engaged with your content so they come back, right? And having interactivity on your stream does seem kind of important in order to grow that audience and get bigger. So having not only talking to chat, but having those sub notifications come up and other ways to engage. I don't think everybody's figured them all out yet, whether you have interactive backgrounds and overlays and things like that. There's a lot of area for experimentation there.
Yeah, I think so. And I think, again, like right now, for me at least, I would, and again, I don't want this to sound weird, so I need to think about how to say it, right? But like, I appreciate everybody who subbed to my channel, and I am very, very thankful to that. But I think when you're a small streamer, you'd much rather get people who retweet or to like who advocate your stream more than anything, right? So yeah, like well, of course, notifications are very important. I think getting the word out there and like just making good content is like the most important thing.
Yeah, so like Yu-Gi-Oh's comment here, like FP memes are an untouched market. Like I just can't meme like that. Like Soding is, like you said, he has like a way with words, like the way that he speaks about things, and he's also very clever. Like he comes up with lots of like really clever comments about programming language that like I'm just not funny enough to come up with that. So like I just don't think it comes across the same way if I'm trying to do something like that.
But again, like I think it's a lot about like he has a character that he's built over the years,
Yeah.
right? And it's kind of like because like he oftentimes would say things that are not even very politically correct. But you kind of know that within the character he's playing, that's okay, right? Because he's saying things like people ask him, why do you do Haskell? And like, well, I do Haskell to feel smart, right? That's the only reason you do Haskell, which is obviously a joke, because like he wouldn't be doing Haskell like every week, once a day for like how many years he's been doing that just because of that, right? He obviously likes Haskell, so.
Or he just really likes being smart. Huh?
Yeah. Okay. But yeah, I think I still think Yu-Gi-Oh's right. I think you can still do like some sort of FP sort of meme without being too. Yeah, I think a few of them are maybe maybe something that might work. I'll think about that.
More puns, more puns. Laziness. It's just a rich minefield of puns.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, like they even have like a meme name for Haskell, right? Like they don't call Haskell Haskell, they call it Haskell, and it's just like it's like a huge thing for them. So that entire group is very funny about the way they talk about Haskell.
Oh yeah, like Sodding is a place. It's an interesting place, right? The channel, right? Because it's a place where like programming and a large variety of programs meets Twitch culture, right?
Yeah.
So you get a lot of like memes from like mixed memes from like Twitch versus programmer memes, right? And they kind of get mixed there in oftentimes fun ways.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And Matten says I like burritos. I just like burritos. Yep. I mean, it totally makes sense as an FPR to like burritos. Okay, so cool. So okay, let's talk about like okay. So we talked about what it's like what's important when you're streaming, right? And we kind of all agree that like, the basics are important, right? The like scheduling, just doing it, do something that you enjoy, have fun while doing it. Talk to chat. I think those are the most important, and then like get it out there, right? Twitch, YouTube, FP, like the Slack, wherever you can get it out there. And also like another good way to do it is just join other like our streams, right? Come there, like we'll definitely shout you out. Just come when you're streaming, say hi. We'll shout you out because we'll know you're streaming. Just tell us you're streaming, and we'll definitely shout you out to our audiences, which again are not huge audiences, but like it's a start, right? Because like think about this, like I think I read somewhere that like a crazy high number of streamers only get one viewer, which is themselves usually, right? So like just getting 5-6 viewers already puts you like at least 90% ahead of the pack. Right, because like literally that's the vast majority of streamers are sitting there at one viewer, right? So, and from that, like once you get 5, 6, 10 viewers, even lower than that, it's up to you, right? Make good content and do it regularly, and that's
Yeah, so just another comment on that. Like, if you have questions about this stuff, you can also ping us on wherever. I mean, I assume I'm speaking for everyone, I guess, on accident. But like, if you want to ping me and ask me questions about streaming, like, please do. Like, I'm more than happy to help you get started or comment or whatever.
Oh yeah, and like also like you could just jump into the FP Slack in the Watch Me Codes channel and just ask anything you want there, because there's quite a few people who stream there. Yeah, okay. So, okay, let's go into content then. So what kind of, like without giving anything up, if you have a cool idea that you haven't announced yet, you don't have to get into it now. But like what kind of, because you already kind of got into what kind of regular content do you do? Do you have any like ideas for things that you want to do in the future? Any cool things or anything that you might want to pass the ball around? Maybe we can come up with something cool we could either do together, or maybe just help each other find other cool ideas to do. The other option is to stream JavaScript and get all the viewers. I'm not sure about that.
Yeah, I mean, like, so if you're, I know you're memeing, but like, if you take, for example, like Coding Garden, for example, right? He does almost entirely JavaScript and TypeScript, but like, he's a personality, right? He's a very, very nice person to talk to, and he's like super engaging with his chat. So I think that like that's not everyone, but he's got a huge community
I
as
don't want to be
well.
that guy, but I think his streams are kind of like 1 hour introduction where he just
Yeah.
talks with chat and then maybe 1 hour of coding, right?
He has
And
a community.
that's perfectly
Like,
cool. Like I have no problem with that. That's totally cool, and I love he's doing that. But like once you get that many viewers, like what he does, he has like 500 viewers as soon as he starts or something, right?
Yep.
Right. So like it's, and you want to be engaging, you have to spend a lot of time chatting with people, right? Because everybody will want to say something, right? Hello, welcome, like how are you today or whatever. And if you don't engage with them, then they'll not be there next time probably. Sorry. I think James has been trying to say something for a while now.
I think I totally forgot what I was going to say.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I feel so bad now.
Oh, no. Okay, you're asking like what could we do? What other things could we do as a community of FP streamers, since we have kind of small audiences and we're all focused on different things. One of the things I wanted to try out sometime is to do like pair programming streams where we could work on a project together. I've been floating this idea around with some people. So Reed does, say, like formal verification and a lot of math heavy stuff. I know a friend of mine, I still talk to the person who got me into Haskell in the first place. He does a lot of formal verification and works in the Lean community. And it'd be kind of cool to like pair program together, pair up, pick a library, and let's just verify it and get it going, and that kind of thing. Or to work on a Haskell project together, or do a PR together, or improve something in the community. People talk about tooling a lot these days. But just to, more pair programming, riffing off each other, and doing that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I definitely think that's a cool idea. And also like this goes into the collaborations idea, right? Like pair programming is also, it's something that I definitely love to do at some point, like at least try it out and see how it feels, because I've never done it on stream, right? I didn't even do a lot of that remotely, right, since we started working remotely. So yeah, that's something that might be interesting to try out sometime.
Yeah, plus one on the tooling stuff as well. I think a lot of the reason people don't contribute to that stuff is it's very intimidating, but once you get into it, it's actually not super horrible. So having content out there that sort of walks people through, okay, here's how you make your first contribution to, I don't know, like HLS or GHC or something would be super, super valuable.
Oh yeah. Even to simple things, right? Because doing a contribution on GHC is not trivial, right?
Yeah.
Or maybe, so again, maybe I mean that part where, because Reed was looking like, why is it not trivial? So maybe, okay. I mean, maybe we're actually missing that sort of content you're talking about, right? Maybe I haven't watched the video which shows me this is how you do it, and I'd be like, oh, okay, that's easy.
Even just figuring it out, too, is also fun. I created the Lean Hacker Guide after watching George Hotz try it on his Esoteric Language Sundays stream that he does. And I was like, he's trying to write a parser in Lean. I was like, no, you got to do this. You got to try this. But I was watching it VOD, so I couldn't interact with it. But I was like, so I put together the guide.
Can you link the guide in chat? Because you've mentioned it twice already, and I don't think I've seen it, and maybe other people in chat haven't seen it.
Oh, sure.
Okay. Because I'm interested in Lean. I kind of want to look into Lean at some point. Maybe I'll do a stream on that. Yeah, and also like you were saying, Reed, like doing that sort of thing. I started doing that with PureScript, right? I started doing like there's this PureScript contributors organization which has, it's not the main library, but there's like some libraries there, and there's a lot of work there into cleaning them up and like getting some issues fixed and so on, right? Some better documentation, and some of them have like long-standing issues that have not been fixed. And I've been doing like once a week at least, going on stream and like looking, okay, what kind of issues are here? Let's and I think I have a few PRs already open, right? And I think I need to upload at least one to YouTube, just so, okay, this is how it's pretty easy to do a PR. This is how you do it, blah blah, on one of these. But yeah, I definitely think that's a cool idea to show people how to do. I also plan to do a PR on the PureScript compiler, and I'll hopefully also record as a video. But yeah, that's a good idea, like doing PRs to open source project that we love is a good idea, to like a great sort of content to also help people do that, but also help those projects, right, get more contributors. So I like that idea.
Just show it's not so scary. It was also fun, engaging content too, watching GeoHot try to figure out Lean and how to get it to work, because I think you eventually got the parser to work at some point. And there's some discussion along the way about it, but it was fun to watch.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been kind of toying with the idea of doing watch me try every single proof assistant. Just do like maybe some basic theorem and just sort of repeat that over and over in all the different offerings out there. Because I would like to try some of them. I've heard good things about Lean, but I haven't quite taken it down yet.
Yeah, there's a lot of them, right? There's also Isabel, which is also very different from the others, right?
Yeah, there's Isabel. There's all of the sort of weird hot versions that are sort of out there.
Or like Red
There's
TT or
ECL2.
something.
Yeah, there's tons of them. So it would be kind of fun to just play around with all of them.
Mm-hmm.
Rosetta
Yeah.
code for theorem provers.
Yeah, and like that's also a cool video, right? Like a 1-2 hour video where you just let's go through all of them and do the same proof in each and every one of them. That's a pretty cool, like, for people who are interested. Okay, how do all of these look like? How are they different? At least at a like very surface level, right? Because you're not gonna get into a lot of details. You don't have time to do that in a single stream. But at least like let's take this proof and have fun with it in different provers. Yeah, that sounds super cool. Okay. So okay, I think also like pair programming, somebody mentioned earlier, that's something also that I want to try at some point. Although I think our schedules are pretty different, so the four of us might have a hard time doing something like that. But maybe we can find like other people maybe who don't stream but would be interested in, like, maybe we find some of the core contributors or authors of some library, and then we just say, hey, would you like to join me on stream at some point? Let's do a like collaboration where I work on a PR with you, and like you help walking me through, or just handing me a hand, like giving me a hand whenever you can, and I'll upload it, and you might get more contributors here, and like getting the project out there.
That would be super cool idea for your podcast Sundays episodes too. I really like the stream with Sandy, and he was talking about his book, but having other library authors and stuff would also be really cool too.
I think I'm gonna keep podcast Sundays more chatting than coding, but I can definitely do a different. Like, I stream so many days that I have enough time to to do something like that, right? To have a stream where I just do just coding, right, with somebody else.
Yeah, I think when you stream more, you have more opportunities for different kinds of content. Whereas I've only streamed once a week, so my slot is only a couple hours long, so I got to really kind of limit what I work on.
Yeah.
I sort of had this idea. So like we were talking about pair programming, but like on another, and someone working with you on open source issues, that would be kind of really a good idea. I had this idea once about like teach me something. So I was trying to get someone else to come on stream with me and like teach me as if I've never done it before. And we did that once. I did that once with Jappy on Twitch, and he taught me a bit of Nix. So I thought that was cool, and it turned out to be a good stream, but neither of us spent the time to like fix up the information so that you could like someone else could use it. But anyway, I thought that was like an interesting idea, and I had fun doing that. So if people wanted to like do open source issues, I think that could be really enjoyable.
Actually, that's a very good idea. Like teach me something where like we are the ones that are learning. It's also interesting, right? Because I'm doing the other way around with like somebody else, but yeah, maybe the opposite is also very interesting, I think. Yeah, that's a very good idea. Okay. And I think like what's interesting to me, like the kind of content I care about like a lot, and I don't think I can do this exclusively, like teaching content where I'm trying to educate people with like get them to learn more FP, because I also feel the need to do some of my own work, right? Do some Haskell period, right? Not teaching Haskell, not teaching PureScript, but I also care a lot about this sort of thing. So yeah, but I'm not sure there's much more that I could be doing. Like I don't have that much time, right? Like after doing like teaching Thursdays and like podcast Sundays, there's actually not that many. Like there's 2 or 3 more days, so I don't have that much time to do any random things. Yeah. Okay. No, Reed is back apparently. Welcome back. Okay. So what kind of so Reed, I'm curious about you then, Reed. What's your plan, right? Because you're doing this category theory kind of course right now, or kind of like sort of course. Do you plan to go very deep, or do you plan to restart it at some point? Do you plan to like what's your plan with that?
So I'm hoping to get to sort of a point where I can start talking about more topos theory. That's kind of the goal. And just for context, that's sort of doing logic and sort of all of mathematics within category theory itself. But I do need quite a bit of machinery to get myself there. So hopefully I'm getting to that point where we can sort of switch off of, the basics and sort of dive deeper into one specific topic. I still want to keep one slot open where I can just like goof off with whatever weird thing that I'm kind of interested in that day.
Mm-hmm.
But the goal is eventually to hit topos theory and then sort of start talking through like sheaves and how you do sort of logic internal to a category.
Okay, so you're kind of like thinking about diving deeper rather than.
I'm not going to run the same course over and over. We're going to start and we're going to keep going until I either hit a point where I no longer understand and then we'll switch gears, or just keep diving deeper down the road.
It might be even interesting to see you figure things out right on stream, right? Okay, I don't know this. Let's learn together, right?
Yeah, I think we've done a little bit of that before with some of the simplicial complex stuff, but yeah, that's it's hard to learn on stream, I think, because a lot of it is just sitting there and kind of thinking through things. And I personally struggle with thinking really hard and talking through my thoughts at the same time. It's kind of a lot of balls in the air there. But I would like to get better at that. Yeah,
it's definitely hard. Like I remember, I think I had 2 streams where I tried to do that. I think I tried to figure it, and I don't even remember. I think, or was it only one? I definitely remember the Cont T stream where I was trying to figure that out. And it's hard, right? Because you kind of be mindful to chat as you're trying to learn, right? And kind of read it, but kind of also think about try to process things at the same time.
Mm-hmm. I found that the best thing to do when I'm stuck at those types of head against the wall issues is to just turn off my stream and come back to it next time. Because almost every single time I turn off my stream, I immediately realize what was wrong. I don't know about anybody else, but that's usually what happens. Is I turn it off and I'm like, oh, I'm being silly. It's obviously this thing. That happens to me a lot.
Yeah, I think it also depends a lot on what your plan is with the stream, right? Because like you could definitely like kind of learn something on stream, but also prepare a bit before, right? And I don't mean necessarily learning before and then pretending you're learning on stream, right? But kind of making a plan before, having a rough idea of what you're going to do, and like trying to at least minimize the chance that you'll get 100% stuck. But then again, maybe the better idea is just to have somebody walk you through something, right? Because then it's a lot better. There's a lot less chance that you'll get stuck. So what about a series where investigate, reverse engineer the implementation of popular libraries? That's interesting. So kind of like trying to reinvent some wheels, or maybe just look at the implementation, try to understand things, and that's always interesting to do. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Well, digging out Haskell history, that would be an interesting one too, maybe. See if we can get an old version of the compiler going again, and a really old version of the library, and see how we got to where we are today.
Oh yeah, or even some of the old papers, like the paper which introduced applicatives, or the one which introduced monads or type classes. Those are all such gems, and like they're super nice to read. How about get Miranda running? Cool. Yeah, I mean that might be a fun thing to do at some point on a stream. Yeah.
Yeah, someone should really write just a minimal Haskell compiler. Another Haskell 98 competitor. It'd be kind of fun.
Wasn't there? I remember, but I don't remember who did that. But I think somebody built a like Haskell compiler, which like a very simple one, not a real compiler, which helped you learn by showing you like intermediate results and like things like that. But I don't remember where I saw that. I'm pretty sure I saw that somewhere. Like it was
Yeah, I
like
can't
specifically
remember.
created for learning, for teaching, for learning, for I don't remember the specifics, and I don't even remember when I read it. Oh, Duet by Chris Dunn. Yeah, maybe that's it. I think that seems like that's the thing. So yeah, maybe that's a good place to start and see if there's an easy way to make it, like to have a look at it, maybe play with it on stream, and maybe even improve it somehow, or like add some features to it. See if I wish it had this or that or whatever. Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. Okay, so what kind of so we talked about some sort. Okay, let's see. Reed said that he wants to go deeper into the lands of category theory, and then Barry, I think you ended up on just learning stuff, right? You just like whatever you feel it's cool. You don't really have a like very very clear plan, right? Like I think you recently started with Unison, right? But I don't think that's something that you really want to do for a very long time, or you're not sure.
Oh no, I want to do way more Unison.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
So future me. So I started this algorithm book, which is in Haskell, and I'm trying to like translate it into Unison essentially. But the goal is I would like to start contributing to the Unison standard library because it's essentially non-existent. So I think that could be a useful thing. That's definitely future goals, is to be writing more Unison. So like I've always wanted to be on the forefront of things. So if I can hop in and be useful in the Unison community, then I want to try to do that. But I'm just not a data structures and algorithms person. Like I've never got into that stuff. So I'm trying to learn.
Yeah, it's a good excuse to get into it, right? So
yeah.
Cool.
But like I think that like I don't know about you guys, but I flip flop a lot between doing books and like doing something practical. Like eventually I start to get bored with doing a book, and so I want to do something more practical. And then I get bored with doing something practical, so I want to do something more like a book. So I flip flop between those two things occasionally. I'm in the practical world right now, but I see the book right around the corner.
Okay. So I have a question about. Sorry, go ahead.
I think that's perfectly normal. That's what I do too. Is I bounce between application and theory a lot. Yeah.
So I'll be honest. So how do you feel that the book series work, right? Like I get like most of the time you're reading a book, right? But you can't show it on stream, right?
Yeah.
The part that
it depends. I mean, it depends what the authors ask you to do. So like for example, Chris Penner, he was just like, put the book on stream. I don't really care. Like if people want to watch your VODs or YouTube videos to read the book, like let them. It's going to be really hard and frustrating. So, if they want to spend that time doing that, then fine. Other people are like, don't show the book on stream. And it's like, sure, no problem. Okay. So it really just depends what the authors ask me to do.
So every book you've done on stream, you've asked the author before, right?
Yep. Except for, I haven't started on stream, but the purely functional data structures book, I couldn't figure out how to get a hold of Okazaki. So I just couldn't do it. So I asked the publisher, and the publisher gave me the rights to do it. Okay. So
did they give you the rights to also show it on stream, or just to do the content?
Just to have the book in front of me and use it as a reference. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, and how do you feel that works, right? Especially when you can't show the book on stream, right? Because I'm interested in this sort of content. Like, do you feel like there's less engagement, or do you just read out loud like the contents on the book, or how does that work?
It really depends on what we're doing. So, like, if it's a conceptual thing, then yes, you have to read something from the book, like definitions or whatever. But I've found that when I'm not showing the book, people ask more questions. So I think that actually works out really well, because people will just ask stuff about the book, and then we'll like explore other concepts related to whatever we're doing. So I think the book series work really, really well with most of the books that I've done on stream. Yeah, and I mean I've done quite a few of them at this point.
Okay, that's interesting. I might try that out at some point. I wonder if it's the same with like articles, like papers, or not. it
I
might
mean,
be
so
similar.
I guess it depends because like some books are meant to be accessible to students, right?
Mhm.
Like articles are meant to be accessible by academics, so not necessarily the general public. But our viewership is already leaning towards being academic. I think in most cases are leaning towards like wanting to do more academic reading and stuff like that. So I think the papers would be fine. Although I've not done one on stream personally.
Mm-hmm. Okay, interesting. Um, yeah. So what about you, James? What kind of content do you see yourself doing? Like kind of continuing your in-memory database project. I think you started working on a game recently. Like, do you see yourself continuing with that? I guess that's the same kind of content you want to be doing, right? Because you already said that you want to like just write Haskell code, right?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And at first, I thought when I got in front of the stream, I would be like, I've got to, every time I sit in front of a camera, I feel like I'm supposed to be teaching something like I'm the expert. That's why you're watching me. So I'm trying to avoid that nowadays and say like, okay, well, I'm not here to teach. I'm here to learn along with you, which is a different format.
Mm-hmm.
And some of that is just doing things that interest you. So when I brought up the idea of doing, taking a break from the database for one stream one night, yeah, I just started live coding together an adventure game, a text adventure game, kind of on the fly because I'd read this blog post about Haskell mini patterns that I thought was excellently written, and just kind of came from the fingertips and from the seat of the pants, so to speak. So I'll just kind of continue down that path. I'm going to keep working on the database because I think it's going to lead to more interesting things later on, which you don't get when you're just talking about beginner stuff, which there's a lot of content for that out there. How to get started with Haskell. But the other side of it is, okay, now I've known enough Haskell. I want to do something with it, something a little bit more than just CLI programs and my first starter projects. I want to build databases with it, or I want to build a word processor, or a game engine, or a web service, or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
Which there's a little bit less content for at that level.
Yeah.
So hopefully we'll eventually get there. Kind of like I don't know if you've ever seen Handmade Hero or anything like that. Casey Muratori started that a long time ago. Still doing it, I think. But just kind of keeping going with it. I'm trying to keep my projects a little bit contained. Like we can do it in less than a year, hopefully. I think that's what Handmade Hero was originally going to try and do, but we'll see how it goes.
Cool. So yeah, give me 1 second. So Vint is saying I'm tempted to start streaming, but would I keep them going or do them often enough? And yeah, Barry said we should discuss on. I agree. That's an interesting conversation topic. I think we touched some of it earlier, but let's get back into it for a second. So I think what we said earlier, and let's see if we have anything extra to add. But I think what we said is it's often enough. It's once a week is often enough. Like James is doing once a week, right? Streams, and that's definitely once enough. Sorry, that's often enough. Right? Like I think even once every other week is enough, but it might be harder to keep a constant schedule because like I think weekly, at least for me, maybe for other people it's different, but for me having a weekly schedule is easier than having a like bi-weekly schedule or monthly schedule, like once a month or whatever. Mm-hmm. Right? Just getting into the hang of doing something every like Wednesday or whatever is easier than doing every other Wednesday. So I think you don't have to stream as much as I do for sure. I'm not even sure it's healthy to do that. I should probably I might change it.
That was actually going to be my comment. Is just that like if you start with something and if it doesn't work, you can always adjust it. So and if one night it's too much, don't do it.
Yeah.
Right. Like I definitely will. I occasionally get to the point where I'm just like, look, I'm going to be miserable if I stream. And that's like, if you're not going to have fun and you need a break, take a break. No one is going to be like, you're terrible. I'm never going to watch you again. It's just like, you need a break and you need to make sure that you don't burn yourself out. Cause I have seen Haskell streamers burn themselves out or become uninterested in streaming. And, I don't want anyone to stop doing that. I would like you to stay around. So, you definitely have to stay healthy and mentally healthy while you're doing it.
Yeah, and I'd like to add that I started streaming every day for like 2 or 3 weeks, I think, and I streamed literally every single day for like at least 2 hours, if not more. And then I realized, okay, I can't hold this, and now I'm on 5 days, and sometimes 6, sometimes 5, and that works for me right now because I'm still very anxious. But I think if I ever change my job to doing Haskell full time again, I might get, okay, that's too much doing like full time Haskell job and doing 5 days a week of Haskell content. So I might tone it down to 3 or whatever, right? But again, like that's not a problem. I think there's like huge Twitch streamers who have like 20,000 subscribers and get like a lot of people paying them monthly to the subscription fee, and they just say, okay, I'm not gonna stream for a week because I'm bored, goodbye. And like that's no problem, right? So and that seems like a lot more pressure. Like if you just start streaming and you do 2 streams and then you're tired or you don't want to do it anymore, then just do that, right? Just start it, see how it feels, and yeah, like if probably don't do what I did and start with 7 days a week. That's too much. Probably start with 1 or 2 or whatever. See how it feels, and then work your way up or down from there.
Yeah, I think it's okay. You can always walk away from anything. Right? If something's going so bad, just walk away. Nobody can do anything about it. It'll leave more questions than anything, and make you very an interesting person of mystery. But I've also had kind of days like that as well, where I went to go start streaming, and it's just been, there's a pandemic going on. There's lots of things happening, and I was like, I don't got the energy for this. I can't. And I tried anyway. I remember streaming, I think it was like the 3rd or 4th, maybe the 5th one in, and my partner was like, well, you should at least give it a shot anyway. And I was just getting too frustrated because I was just too tired. It wasn't a good experience, and so I ended the stream early, and it was fine. Nothing happened, and came back next week and made up for it later in the week, I think, even.
Yeah, and even that, like if you're tired,
it's all right.
If you're tired now, like you started a stream, but you figure out you're tired, just end it, right? You don't have to stay there for another hour. Even if you said at the beginning, I'm gonna stay here for 3 hours, if after 1 hour you're tired, you just go, okay guys, I'm sorry, I'm a bit tired now, see you tomorrow or next week or whatever, right? That's absolutely no problem. Nobody will blame you for it. And the second point, you said that you feel like you're not a fast learner. I don't think that's a good. Even if that were true, I think that's even a better reason to stream than not, because I think there's like if we only had people who learn very fast, it would show a skewed version of reality where like everybody gets Haskell like that, which is definitely not the case. There's so many people struggling, and I think a lot of people, if that is true and you're actually a slow learner, then I think it will also be very interesting to watch for a lot of people, and like give a lot of people hope that even if they are also like slow learning, they can also do Haskell. But I don't think you're a slow learner. I think you're selling yourself a bit short there. And also, like, take Barry's example. Like, I think it will also help you learn more and better if you do some streams, because I know it has helped Barry quite a bit. And like having a schedule, even if it's once a week, right? You have, I have 2 hours every week where I just learn Haskell, whatever. Like, get yourself a plan to what you want to learn and just do it on stream. And that's super useful and super, like, that's very cool.
Like the functional programming community is generally awesome. Like, I often get people in the chat who are helping me learn extremely difficult concepts that I really have a hard time grasping. And like I'm thinking about like Lumi. I don't know if anyone is aware of this character, but he helps me a ton and all the time. So you're gonna find these people who are more than willing to help you understand whatever concept you're having trouble getting over, and just you use them as a tool.
Yep, definitely. And like pretty much it's quite often that in chat you're going to have both sorts of people who are learning at the same pace, or are looking at you and think, oh, this guy or this person knows so much, and try to learn. But there's also people who can teach you a lot, right? And that's also something that's very interesting with streaming, right? Because you're going to get questions from people trying to get something out of you, and then you're going to have people who type to help you out, right? Who'll give you an idea or explain something to you that you didn't know before. So
just like 2 weeks ago, when I was doing the one Unison stream, like Runar and Arya, two of the main contributors, were helping me learn Unison. Like you can find that kind of help by streaming on Twitch. Like they will come and help you if you tell them that you're online.
Yeah,
it's
and that's
pretty
literally
wild,
like
actually.
literally the best two people that could teach you Unison, right?
Yeah.
Like the people who
Yeah.
wrote it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, of course, there's no guarantee that you're going to get that when you start streaming, but you will get some people. You'll get us for sure, right? At least some of us when we have time, right? We're definitely also viewers of FFP streams, not just content creators. So, yeah, as we said earlier, we'll help. Like if any of you want to start streaming, just drop us a message. We'll help you get the word around that you've started, and we'll give you tips if you ask for them. If not, just do your thing. It's fine. You don't have to do things our way. Do your own thing and enjoy it. Yeah.
So I did have one idea that was on that Slack thread, and if now is the time to bring it up. I'm not sure.
Yep.
Sure. Should we have a localized sort of streaming on Twitch or YouTube Discord instead of having like the Watch Me Code channel in the Slack and our own? I don't know if you guys all have your own Discords, but it seems like we could build a bigger community if we were a community ourselves.
Okay, that's interesting. So I have a few ideas there. So the reason I created my own Discord, I didn't even have it before I started Podcast Sundays, and I literally initially just created it so I can invite people to. So we have a place where we're not distracted and we can do Podcast Sundays. But then I quickly realized, okay, why not use it for the community? So I just posted the link in like on the bottom here on Twitch, and it's like somewhat public now, right? Anybody can join it. Although again, there's a limited amount of people who watch this channel, so it's not that public, right? It's just if you're watching me and you want to get on Discord, you can join there. So that's the main reason I have it. But that sounds interesting. I think there's also, are you aware of the FP Discord that already exists? It's a pretty big one, but it's not dedicated to streaming.
There's a few of them. I mean, I'm aware of a bunch of random Haskell related Discords. But it seems like we could probably have just something related to streaming as like, if you want to get started, that you could go hang out there and be like, hey, how do I get started? Or you wanted to go into a specific channel and ask a streamer a question. Like you just go into the Vlad channel and say, hey, could you help me with X? And I think that might be an easier way to get people involved instead of having, a bunch of disparate Discords with parts of our communities in each of them.
I think actually, the more I think about it, I think that's a good idea. Because one more thing that it might help is us doing more collaborations. Because if it's easier to do, then we'll probably do it, right? If I'm online when you're streaming and I join into chat, it's so much easier to say. Well, I mean, sure, maybe, right? Or like any
it's
other.
Unlikely, but
yeah, sure. But I mean, it's a lot easier for us to just randomly say, okay, you're in my chat. If you're able to, you can jump in voice and let's chat. Or let's do this together. Let's do a like impromptu session right now, like pair programming or whatever.
Well, and even just say like, hey, I was thinking about checking out this library this weekend, and then James says, hey, I'm interested in that library too, and then we could just hop on and be like, well, let's coordinate something and work together on it. I think that could be really interesting.
Yeah, I agree. And then Gil Christian's giving the +1 in chat. So, and again, like maybe not me and you, Barry, necessarily, because we are in a like way different time zone. But Gil Christian streams like kind of close to my time zone, so maybe I could do that with Gil. And Vince will probably also stream earlier because it's also in Europe and so on, right? So yeah, I like that idea.
Yeah, I know James and I stream at a relatively similar time as well. So I think that like I would be really interested in trying to figure out how to coordinate those things better. And I'm not sure that's that one Slack channel is the way to do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, sure. I mean, I like that. I think we can try that. We can maybe like discuss in Slack later or in somewhere. No point to go over the details now. But yeah, I think I'd like that.
I would love to work on a PR with you.
Cool. Okay, so heard it here, folks. First time, folks. We're going to have a FP stream or Discord.
Just anyone. I like you creating YouTube videos, you creating whatever you want. Like come and discuss what you're working on, so that hopefully more people can get involved. Like I think having a place where we can collaborate means that we will collaborate. Hopefully, I mean, I guess that's the goal.
Yeah, it's just a first step, right? It's going to make it easier for us to do so. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like that. Okay.
Oh, I should also can we also shout out the GitHub, because
oh yeah, sure. Please link it in chat.
Yeah, give me a second. So I'll just preface this with we're trying to just keep a list, an up-to-date list, ideally, of like programming streams happening. So if you are aware of them or want to share them, I just put the link in the Twitch chat. I don't know if that comes through in the video, right? Because you have the chat coming up on your overlay.
Yep. And but I also add added a command so I can easily.
Yeah, because like if we can just keep people together, but just any way that we can put everyone together and be like, hey, these are the folks in the community, like these are the folks you should reach out to, mm-hmm. And if it's easy to do so, I think that would be good for the community as a whole.
Yep, I agree. Yeah, and then like it's a good place. Like if you want to start streaming, that's a good place to start. Like you can talk with people there. Like I think at least us here already said that we're more than happy to get messages, and if you have any questions. But I guess this Discord would also we could have a channel dedicated to, okay, you want to start streaming, get help here or something like that, right? If you have any questions or like, how do I do that? How do I start streaming? How do I set up and so on? Okay, cool. I like that. How come you all went to Twitch? That's a good question. I'm personally, I just watch Twitch. I'm also a gay. I like to play games, and I used to watch a lot of Twitch, and I still do watch some Twitch. And it's a more familiar environment for me. I understand Twitch. I don't understand YouTube. Mixer's dead, and I don't really like Facebook. So I think those are the big options right now. What about you guys? So why? Because some Haskellers do YouTube, right? I think Christoph did both YouTube and Twitch, and then Chris is doing mostly YouTube. I think Chris Penner. So how did you guys decide on Twitch rather than YouTube or whatever?
Yeah, when I was looking to get into it, I was looking at both Twitch and YouTube. One of the first blockers was that YouTube required, like, to set up a streaming account, you had to wait like 24 hours or something while they verify your identity or something. So it's just a lot easier to set up on Twitch. Obviously, the audience, I think, on YouTube seems a little bit more technical oriented towards technical content. You get stuff featured easier. But Twitch also seems a little bit more laid back and kind of social. It allows more social features.
Yep.
And one of the articles I was reading on how to even get the technology set up to start streaming was focused around Twitch. So it was easy to just kind of follow the guide. I think it was Noobcat. She was doing like some stuff on it. So I learned from now how to set up OBS and how to connect to your Twitch account and do overlays and all that kind of stuff. So.
Okay.
So Twitch just seemed like the easier way to get into it. It wasn't terribly difficult. It was pretty straightforward.
Yep, definitely easy to do that on Twitch. I think it's not that hard on YouTube, but I think they're very similar in a way in how you stream to it. So what about you, Barry?
Yeah, so similar to you, I was just watching Twitch, so it sort of, it was the place that I wanted to watch people play games, essentially. And then I discovered other sub communities on Twitch, and it just seemed like I liked being there. So I thought that it would make the most sense to stream there. And Facebook is not an option for me. I don't want to associate with Facebook. And I thought YouTube's live streaming interface it's awkward because the chat's just not next to the video.
Yep.
Like that kind of just weird, video and chat down to the right. It bothers me. It's such a simple thing, and I think it actually makes a pretty big difference.
Yeah, like I think it deters people from chatting as much, and also a lot of people have like people who don't want their real name shown. They'll have a Twitch account with a nickname, whereas your Gmail/YouTube account will oftentimes be your name, right? And I think that's also something that might hold you from like saying a joke that you'd probably maybe not say otherwise, or like you don't want to like. I understand some people preferring extra privacy, and that's definitely something that Twitch gives you, right? Because you're not going to use your Twitch account for anything else, whereas your YouTube/Gmail account you're going to be using for probably for your emails and other things. So
Yeah, kind of same deal here. It just feels a little bit more laid back, a little bit easier to have sort of a back and forth with people. And Twitch also they have like an IRC gateway, so I can link that up with Emacs and have the Twitch chat open in a separate buffer.
You can do that?
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
That's
I can send you
awesome.
the config if you want.
yeah,
It's
I've seen
super
that. I've seen that on your chat. It's really nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or on your stream. Sorry.
I'm a twisted Emacs user. I can't get out of it.
Yeah, same. I do want to do something for getting people set up at some point, because it is quite the investment, but I think it's worth it.
Yeah. For Emacs specifically, you mean?
Yeah.
Like with HLS? Yeah. I would like to build one of those for Vim as well, like just a video, but I haven't got around to it either.
Yeah. So I think like it's like doing the what was it called? The totally lost my train of thought there. I was going to say something and I lost it. Yeah, okay.
It'll come back.
I just lost it. It's gone. Oh yeah, I remember. Sorry. So like on YouTube, it feels super formal. Like when you're typing something in chat, it kind of feels super formal to me. It might be the case that it's like exactly what you said, Barry. The chat is different. It looks different, so maybe that's why it feels different, right? It kind of feels like you're posting a thread on a reply on a forum rather than just like chatting in something that's like just a regular chat, right? It's yeah. So let's see. Okay, you've convinced me to start on. I'm going to make lots of bad dad jokes with swearing. Should I say the adult content? Yeah, sure, do that. Like you can do mature. Like there's a like a setting in Twitch where you can do that. So yeah, just
they're much more lax about the adult content stuff. Like YouTube is much more strict about that.
Yeah, like you can nobody's going like if you start swearing and don't have that on, then some people might get might get annoyed, right? Because they might have children in the room and like with like stream out loud or whatever, right? But if you're going to do that, then just definitely set that on and nobody will that's totally going to be fine. So about we stream, you walking me through removing space max. Oh yeah, cool. Yeah, I think I'm this close in trying Emacs again, because like I've used it for a long time and I got annoyed at some point and then I just switched to Vim, but now I'm annoyed at Vim again, so it might be time to go back to Emacs plus evil or something.
The cycle repeats.
Yeah. Well, at least I've never gone back to VS Code. I'm just migrating between Vim and Emacs. So. I was streaming. So WGAFA is saying I was thinking of streaming as well. We need more Haskell content. Yep, definitely. So we'll publish the Discord when we're up. I'm pretty sure we're going to tweet it because anybody's welcome there. Yeah. Follow us or any of us and you'll probably find it when it's up. So if you need any help, just ping us either there or on Slack FP or wherever, and if you need any help, we're here. I'm not going to take my clothes off. I think even if you wanted to, that's a bannable offense on Twitch. You can't do that sort of adult content. We're just talking about cuss words and things like that here, not there's other websites for that, Vince, not Twitch. Um, Emacs setup stream. Yeah. I think that's also interesting. I would definitely watch an Emacs stream read.
Yeah, I've been meaning to, because I've been toying with rewriting my config for a very long time.
You mean from scratch?
Yeah, I already have one that I've rolled from scratch, but it needs some refactoring in a couple of places.
Okay.
It's one giant literate org file right now, and that's cool, but I don't know if I want to stick with that. It's got some downsides. So I do kind of want to bootstrap myself again, just to clear out the cruft and all of my dumb hacks, and then add more dumb hacks.
I mean,
But different and new this time.
new and improved dumb hacks. Yeah, that sounds very cool. I'll definitely watch that. That might be the thing that needs to push me into trying it again. So the one thing I want to do, because the one thing it's annoying that I'm having more annoyances with Vim is that it seems like the update process is a bit more annoying. Like there's definitely better support on Nix for Emacs than Vim. So that might be I kind of want to make sure that upgrading a random package doesn't destroy anything, and if it does, then I can easily revert, which is why I kind of want to Nixify it. But before I do that, I'd probably just do without the Nix, but just get something that I'm happy with, and then I can just pin the packages and whatever. Yeah,
it seems like there's some cool solutions out there for Nixifying everything. I haven't quite done the whole Nix jump yet, but it seems pretty interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I might do that part right after I figure out how to do how to configure it again, because I think I've done this a few times. I've done the space max thing, which annoyed me at the end, and I quit it and then went to Vim. Then I came back to Doom because I was like, okay, I'm not going to do it from scratch, but this seems better. And then the third time, I think I actually started it from scratch by just following Christoph's repository, because he has he has some built from scratch Emacs. And I don't remember what annoyed me with that, but I think that was the last attempt. So let's see. My first stream is going to be using Nix on a Haskell project, 8 hours of terminal building the GHC compiler. I mean, there's people watching chickens getting fed on so I don't see why not watching GHC being built.
For cryptocurrency specifically.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay. Cool. I mean, this has been super fun. I'm really happy we did this. Maybe we can do it again in a while, right? Maybe we'll have some of the other streamers who weren't able to join today, like maybe Gil Christian, Dario, and hey, Vince. If he starts streaming, maybe you can join us next time as well. Maybe we do this every few months or something. It feels like it's fun to catch up and talk about what other ideas we have. Maybe think about other things that we could be doing and something like that. Maybe we can host it on one of your streams rather than mine.
So it's like I was thinking about this while we were going, and every time you would move on, and I'd be like, oh shoot, we didn't ask him the question, and it's like we don't want you to feel like the host all the time, so we definitely need to try and make sure that that's not the case, so that you're also answering these questions.
I think I also answered a few myself, right, without anybody asking, but I felt like it might be okay. I mean, this was super good. So any closing thoughts, anybody who wants to start? Or I don't want to put you on the spot. If you don't have any closing thoughts or don't want to, then you don't have to. So,
well, just thank you very much for putting this stream together and doing all the content that you do. I try to follow as much as I can, and I really like what you're doing. So, thanks again. It's been great being on here and having a chat with everybody.
Yeah, thank you for joining. It's and also for your content, of course. It's super fun to watch. It's very hard for me to watch it live. Most of your content, I guess, because you're more closer to each other than to me. It's like 3 a.m. when most of you are streaming. So for me, so it's very hard for me to watch live. But I do watch the VODs whenever I can. So yeah.
And let us know if you're going to start a stream. Any of us, like we more streams.
Oh yeah. So like if anybody wants to start streaming again, I think this is the takeaway maybe from this stream. If you want to start streaming, we are here to help you. So we'll help you like at least share it with our viewers, and if anybody's interested, and I'm sure they will be interested, right? If you're doing FP streams, that's our audience, right? So it's just a matter of like time zones, right? So we'll see how we can get you more like at least some viewers to start with, right? Yeah.
The more Haskell programmers, the better.
Oh yeah.
And sharing that love is great. So may your monads always be free, and your types always check.
That's awesome.
I'm totally stealing that.
Oh yeah, for sure. So okay, Vince saying if we could help him by streaming for him. I don't think that's quite the point, Vince.
I suppose we're already doing that.
You know,
just
yeah.
not on their channel.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, do you have any other? Sorry, did anybody have anything else to add before we kind of go? Well, then, I mean, my closing thoughts is, as I said, right, I'm really happy we did this. I'm happy that we got into this idea of let's help other people start streaming, because that wasn't the idea when I started this. I was just going for, let's see how we can figure out ideas for our streams, right? But you're totally right. And I love that the conversation went here, right? We should also help other people start their streams, right? And if you want to do that, then please do. And again, but don't feel bad if you don't want. Like, it's not for everybody, right? Some people are not comfortable being in front of a camera. Also, one more thing: if you don't want a camera, you don't need a camera. Like, there's plenty of streamers who don't have a webcam, right? You don't have to have one. It's better
I
to
use
have
my phone.
No, I mean, you don't need a camera on screen. Literally, you can just have your voice plus the ID, and that's it. You don't need anything else. If you don't feel comfortable, having your face shown on stream, you don't have to. It's better if you do it, and most streamers have that are successful, have a cam, but there's plenty of streamers who don't have that, and they're still their content is great. So that will
there are
also
streamers that don't do voice. Like, if you don't really want to have a voice chat with your audience, you don't actually have to. I don't know how popular those streams can be, but if you're doing it for popularity, you shouldn't be streaming FP. So,
yeah, again, it depends on what you're trying to do, right? If you're trying to get more people into FP like I do, then it's better if you try to have a camera, have voice, interact with chat, and do beginner content. If you want to just learn, then whatever, right? There's it's not only either have everything or nothing, right? You just figure out where you stand in between all of these things, right? In between having a cam and having a voice or whatever, right? Ignore chat. Okay.
You don't need a whole lot of money either. Because of the pandemic as well, cameras were hard to get a hold of at the beginning. I don't know if that's still the case, but I also didn't want to put a ton of money into a huge setup to get started to get into streaming. So there's an app you can get for most phones. It's $10 or whatever. You just use your headphone and your mic. You don't have to spend a whole lot of money up front on a wicked cool setup, and get these Elgato decks and all these things you hear about in the YouTube videos on how to get started in streaming. You can with programming streams, you can get started for pretty cheap. So don't be afraid.
And again, WGAFA says in chat priority, then I guess Python or JS. I don't think that's true. I think what Barry's saying is totally right. I think you might even get less viewers if you try Python or JS than Haskell. Because with Haskell, you're going to get the Haskell community is pretty small, and there's but there's still a lot of people and few streamers, right? So if you start streaming, you'll get some viewers. You'll get 5, 4, 5, 3, 5, whatever viewers, even when you're just starting, especially if you get some, I don't want to mean we're the Godfather kind of thing and we're going to help you, but we're going to help you, right? And that's going to matter. Whereas if you start doing Python or JS, there's so many big streamers already and there's so much content. Even though there's so many more people, it's harder to get there, right? We already have some communities with FP that we can kind of use to get some sort of exposure, right? So I'm not sure that's the case. It's kind of like if you want to start streaming on Twitch games and you look at the most popular game, you have 0 chance of making it there because there's there's so many people trying that. it's a lot easier to even if you like if you want to do gaming, you're going to look at like some games which have few streamers but kind of decent amount of viewers, like a few thousand, and that's it, right? You don't go.
You have a better chance of winning the lottery than you do becoming a popular gaming streamer.
Yep.
Right, to the point where like you could do it as a job.
Yep, for sure. So yeah, like starting with something that's already popular is going to be very hard. Like with Haskell, you have a way higher chance, or if your pure script or like any sort of like smaller community, but communities which are passionate about the thing that they're doing, it's going to be a lot easier to get at least some amount of viewers and get some, because it's not really about like, I don't think any of us has the plan of making a living off Twitch, right? But it's just like the idea is like have fun, have some sort of audience such that it's fun for you, right? Like get some people there who you can talk to about the things that you love, who you can maybe teach a few people, learn some things from other people, and like things like that's not really like, because like getting to live off Twitch, you need thousands of viewers probably to do that comfortably, and yeah, that's I'm not sure if that's going to happen yeah, anytime soon. So I see, it feels like you have to already have some sort of branding behind. Yeah, exactly, like Counting Garden. Exactly, that's a very good example. And we touched that earlier. Yeah, like if you already have a huge community, yeah, sure, you can do anything you want, right? But
I'm blanking on his first name, CJ. He had a huge YouTube following before he started streaming on Twitch, as far as I'm aware.
Yep.
But so Trapper says, "Hello, Immutables." Do you think that could be our group name for the Discord, the Immutables?
Sure, that sounds fun. Many popular gaming ones
sounds
are
like
also
it could be a good
famous.
ska band.
Yeah, I'm not sure that's true, Christian. I think most of pro players don't make it to Twitch very well. I think it's the ones that are fun and then like the personality kind of streamers do best on Twitch rather than good players. And there's a few who are both, and those are really like get a lot of views, like QXC or Shroud, but those are very rare. Anyway, okay, I think it's time to stop because we've been at it for like 2.5 hours, and I'm sure everybody's tired or needs a break, and we haven't even had any break. So, yeah. So again, let's get back to it. So, thank you a lot for joining. Let's do this again, and yeah, let's do that Discord thing and get more people into streaming.
I can champion that to start anyway.
Okay. Cool. Thank you. Let's get something going, and then we can talk details about like what kind of channels, how to manage it, how many, like the voice channels and everything else. We'll figure it out. It's not too hard. Okay. Yep. Well, thank you very much, and we'll definitely chat later.
All right. See you out there. Take it easy.
Bye.
All right. You're on.